What's up, guys? We are back for another video. I've been away for a while, but that's why I wanted to make this video, give you guys a little update on what's been going on. Also, why am I crammed in my office that now has a bed in it. So yeah, we're going to go over all that in the update. Also going to talk about, how my off-season is going. And I want to talk to you guys about my off-season cycle. I wasn't sure if I was going to mention it in the YouTube, but we are doing the PED Talk series. So this will be episode 2 in the PED Talk series. PED Talk series. And that's going to be about my cycle. So, first things first. So yeah, why are we in turmoil here at my house? Number one, my girlfriend moved in. Enough said, just kidding. My girlfriend did move in, so she has a lot of her belongings here now. But we also lost a bedroom because about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I was sleeping, woke up in the morning to a bunch of water dripping out of my ceiling on my bed. So that made for a super interesting and fun morning. But basically, we're out of room, had to move the bed into the office. We're sharing space for our clothes and everything. So yeah, a little chaotic here right now, but thank God I love her and we're doing our best. So yeah, besides that, let's get into how the off season has been going, because we've really been into it for like 3 weeks now for me. But the interesting thing is, my coach Ron Partlow gave me an off-season diet 2 weeks after my last show, which was September 18th. So started that beginning of October, say. And we have not changed the plan at all. I've been eating the same diet. And if you guys go back to one of my last day of eating video, you can see that diet, exactly what I eat in a day. So yeah, generally very clean food, obviously, things that digest well for me. And that's been going really well. But what's interesting is how much I've grown just by staying on that diet and not increasing food. Of course, I have a couple cheat meals a week. I'll have a cookie here and there if I want it. You guys know I love my Rice Krispie Squares pre-workout. So there is definitely some calories I add in. So on the average day, I'll probably add in 150, 200 calories on top of my diet, just from Rice Krispies, stuff like that. Maybe one of those caramel chocolate rice cakes, you guys, those? They're good. Something like that. But typically I stick to it, and I'll just do my cheat meals on my back days, sometimes my shoulder days, because that's a body part I'm trying to bring up, and also leg days. And like I was saying, weight's been coming up slow and steady. I stayed lean for a very long time after the show. Really relaxed on the diet, got on my diet plan, but same thing, was eating cheat meals, going out with my friends, doing stuff with my girlfriend. Pretty lackadaisical, but just making sure I still hit my 6 meals a day, so I could, keep muscle, gain muscle, have a decent rebound. But yeah, I stayed really lean. I mean, for the longest time, I competed at 265, absolutely peeled, dry as anything. And I hung around 280, 285 for a long time. So when you think about it, it's only 15, 20 pounds above stage weight. And that might sound like a lot, but I'm not a bikini competitor. I'm a super heavyweight bodybuilder, open bodybuilder. So, only being up 15, 20 pounds, after the show, but 8, 12 weeks after the show, I was still really lean, keeping really tight, just looking a lot fuller. But my strength wasn't really coming back. I wasn't really getting great pumps in the gym. My training, wasn't outstanding for a while there, coming out of prep. But I do attribute that to how long I was in prep. It was a 26, 27 week long prep. Got more conditioned than I've ever been. Brought my body to a place it's never been before. So it's going to take a while to get out of that, of course, right? But yeah, it's really been, honestly, the last 3 or 4 weeks where, I started to really feel full in the gym. I'm getting good pumps. I really feel like the food is hitting me. And one thing I will attribute to that is dropping my cardio down. I was probably doing, still an hour of probably hard cardio a day for a while. Just because I knew how important the transition going from that prep to an off-season mode is, that space in between. I had 12 weeks in between where I had to keep pretty tight, and I was really focused on that because I know how important insulin sensitivity is when going into a bulking phase, making sure that when I do start increasing my food, which I thought we would have done by now, but we haven't. But when I do that my body responds well, adds muscle tissue, because if you do a show, get really fat, and then you have to do an off-season phase where you're supposed to be gaining muscle, well, if you already put on a bunch of fat, you're probably insulin resistant, you can't really bulk, you have to cut again before you can bulk properly. So I wanted to avoid that at all costs. So that's basically why I stayed as lean as I did. So yeah, and all I had to do, like I said, was kind of pull back on the cardio. So now for cardio, I might walk my dogs once a day, maybe twice a day for like 20, 30 minutes, nothing crazy. But I still do enjoy doing that. I still think keeping some cardio in the off season is very important, just for appetite, just overall health reasons, of course. You want to keep your cardiovascular strength somewhat high so you can train hard in the gym. You're not getting gassed and gassing out easily. So that's been another thing that's been helping me with my training. But yeah, training's really been picked up, and especially the last 3 weeks because, well, we've been back on cycle. And I'm actually loving this cycle so far. I'm really happy with what we decided to do. So I'll just let you guys in on it. So for a test, I always do basically 750 to 1,000 milligrams a week, just depending on the week. And that's because I'll do 250 milligrams of Test D every second day. That to me is a sweet spot. I don't need any more to gain muscle. Like, I'm making amazing progress right now. I feel bigger, fuller, rounder. Like, I know my arms and shoulders especially are growing. That's something I'm working on. So, I just use that to kind of gauge, like, how much do I really need. So if I know I'm making progress that way and my strength is going through the roof this last week especially. And again, obviously I haven't changed my food, like I said, so like I know what's attributing to this. So, and I know like the timing and half-lives of these supplements, like when they kind of kick in, that I'm using, and like, it's just on time. So that's how I know like that dosage for me test-wise is good. I know guys that do much more than that. I know guys that do a little less than that. And I think that's, it's just one of those things you gotta find what works for you. Like, there's no, 1,200 milligrams is the best, 1,500 milligrams is the best. Like, it's totally different for everybody, because different amounts of tests are going to increase your own testosterone levels a different amount, person to person. So yeah, that's the sweet spot for me, 750 to 1,000 mgs a week. So I'm trying MPP for the first time. DECA is something I've used many times, especially when I was younger, trying to put on size. You hear DECA is good at putting on mass, which it is. It definitely comes with a little bit of water retention. Which I tend to hold water anyway, so it's not a great drug for me for that reason. And that's not something I really kind of tuned into until more so recently, just talking to people who know more about it than me, my coach, people who are smarter than me, and just kind of learning from them, and just doing my own research online and stuff, of course. So I decided to try MPP, which is basically like a short ester version of DECA. So the benefits I like from those types of drugs are, it really helps with like, joint pain and things like that. So kind of allows you to train a little harder in that sense. I'm not going to say it like numbs you, but it definitely allows you to kind of push through any like joint or tendon issues that you might be having. Also, yeah, generally it's just, it's going to help you put on muscle too, without the water retention, just like DECA would. Another reason why I don't like using DECA is because although I'm not sensitive whatsoever to like any estrogen-based side, so like any like estrogen aromatization doesn't affect me. I don't really have to use any estrogen blockers at all. But I do get prolactin-based side effects that come from drugs like DECA and MPP. So that's something I'm keeping a close eye on. With DECA, it was really bad. The worst side effect for me was erectile dysfunction, if I'm being completely honest, which is obviously not fun. We want to avoid that one. So I've heard from, like I said, other people that are more experienced than me to try MPP, just because it doesn't stay in your system as long. So it doesn't have so much of a cumulative effect as DECA does, building up in your system, which will have these prolactin-based side effects that will last longer, of course, right? And they're harder to get rid of and harder to treat. So far, MPP is good. We're only doing 200 milligrams a week, which is pretty low dose. So I would only ever do 300 milligrams a week of DECA. Some guys go way higher with it, but I couldn't even handle 300. I did like the positives I got from it, like, the joint pain and things like that. Obviously helps you get stronger and bigger. But the side effects just weren't worth it to me. So far so good with MPP, getting all the positive side effects, none of the negative ones. And we're keeping a pretty low to moderate dose, and I think we're going to keep it there based off how things are going. So very happy with that. And Equipoise is like a staple in the off season for me. I even ran it for like most of my prep up to like the last 8 weeks, but 300 milligrams of Equipoise. So Equipoise essentially allows you to hold more glycogen in your muscle bellies, which is obviously going to allow you to recover better, be stronger in the gym, perform at a better rate. So yeah, that's going to help grow muscle. Also going to increase hemocrit, so it's going to increase hemoglobin, red blood cells, which is going to allow your blood to be more oxygenated, which again is going to help performance, help you draw more blood to the muscle, more nutrients to the muscle. High recovery rate equals more gains in a shorter period of time. That's what the drugs do. So yeah, that's a combination of the steroids that I'm using. So the only other thing that I'm using right now is growth hormone. So pharmacy grade growth hormone, running right around 5-6 IUs a day. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but I think it's right around, yeah, like 2 point, I think I'm right around like 2.6, 2.7 I use in the morning, and the same before I go to bed. So the reason behind that is, you know, generally when you're using growth hormone, you know, for a purpose, say if you want to use it for like, if you're getting ready for a show, you want to get really lean, the best time to use it would be fasted in the morning before you eat your first meal or before you go do fasted cardio, because basically growth hormone is going to cause fat cells to mobilize and it's going to result in like fat burning, right? So if you're trying to get lean, obviously that's a really good thing to do, and like you take it in the morning, you're up moving around, training, doing cardio, doing things, so it's going to enhance that effect. Also, like, it's growth hormone, it's going to help you grow, it's going to help preserve muscle tissue if you're in prep, so like the benefits are really endless with that stuff. And the theory, you know, with the nighttime before bed GH is that when you sleep, it's obviously when you're recovering, it's when you're growing, you know, from training. So we take it before bed. It's kind of like a little boost, get some extra growth hormone in your system to allow the recovery process to be enhanced and obviously help you grow more muscle tissue. So that's what I'm doing right now. And to be honest, that's one thing that I think has been a game changer for me recently. You know, the Pharma grade especially compared to like the generic grade stuff. I think is a big difference from my experience for sure, all on the positive side. And it's a nice feeling knowing that you're using exactly what you're supposed to be using as opposed to just trusting some outside source. And the stuff's not cheap either, so you want to make sure if you're spending your money on that, you're getting good quality stuff. And I know I am, just based off the effects and how much it's been helping me lately. So yeah, I think a combination of those things, just, you know, it's great. Like what we found working with my coach, like we found something that works really quickly. We don't think we're going to need to adjust anything cycle wise, and that's just like a good feeling because I have another 16, 17 weeks of this, and the fact that it's working now so well makes me super excited to continue this off-season phase and to continue growing. And that kind of leads me into what's next, right? You know, I get this question all the time. You know, am I going to compete this year coming up? Or am I going to just, you know, try to get as big as possible? Everyone wants to know how big I'm going to get. I'm going to get 330, 340, all that shit. So fact of the matter is, and now all this could change. I'm kind of just throwing this out there. And again, guys, with this video, I'm really making this just so I want to give you guys an update on everything, right? And it's been a while. So, yeah, I'm going to ramble a little bit probably. And I might say some stuff that could turn out not to be true. But I just want to give you guys an idea where my mindset is right now, because I do get these questions all the time, and it makes me think about it. And, you know, you guys have been asking me to keep up on the videos, so I just want to give this information to you, right? Let you know where my head is at, kind of, going through this off season. So, as far as competing again goes, I'm kind of up in the air. Like, you know, I honestly feel like in my gut that what's best is to take this whole year off of 2022 and just solely focus on improving, you know, get 2 good off-season phases in, take them both very seriously, and then that would put me in a really good position, I feel like, to do some damage at the beginning of the 2023 season. You know, I could hit shows like New York Pro, Toronto Pro. They're also close by. It makes sense, as opposed to if I decide to compete at the end of this year, I'm looking at traveling. I'm only going to get 1 off-season in, then a recovery phase, and then a prep, right? So I will improve this off-season phase, but it might not be enough time to improve as much as I need to be as competitive as I want. Because if I only did, like I said, if I did this off-season phase, I would have time for 1 recovery phase, and then I would have to start my prep, and I would have to compete. Probably, it looks like California or Nevada or like Europe, like Romania. So that's a lot of extra variables to take into consideration when I think about how I'm investing my time and my finances, of course. And, you know, I'm way past the point of competing for experience. Like, I want to compete to win, and I'm very realistic with myself. Like, I don't think I'm this crazy genetic freak that just got his pro card that's going to go take the whole pro league by storm. Like, you know, it's not realistic for me. I'm still 6'2". I still have structure I got to fill out, especially my upper body, and that's really what I'm working on. I gotta really pack on the size on the upper body. That's my main focus, and I think it's just going to take more time. I think it's going to take 2 off-season phases to get me to where I need to be, working under my coach and being very meticulous throughout the whole process. And I'm just looking forward to doing that because I'm in now. I'm very happy I got my pro card. Of course, I can focus on being the best pro possible, but it just kind of lets me relax. I don't feel this eagerness to compete. I don't feel like as of right now I have anything to prove. You know, so my main focus is just on getting better, learning my body more, learning what works for me better, becoming better at training, becoming better at eating, all those things. Just becoming a more efficient bodybuilder. And also, I got some business stuff going on too. I'm hiring a couple guys on with my coaching business, trying to expand that. So not being in prep mode will give me a little bit more time to put myself in a better position, like in my life and financially, so that when I transition back into prep mode, I can have everything kind of done and settled away so that I can focus on my prep, because that's something I know is very important. Like, I don't want other stresses in my life while I'm prepping for my first pro show that I plan to win. So if I, do that plan, execute that plan that I just said, take the whole year off for off season, focus on my business, I think I'll just be in a great position to do well in 2023. So, unfortunately, like, things aren't going to be overly exciting. Like, that's the biggest struggle with competing, right? And especially now that I'm a new pro, there's a bit of pressure, like, get out there, get my name out there, because all these other things come with competing, right? Like, sponsors and new opportunities and photo shoots and, networking. It's great, there's a lot of positives with that. But like I said before, if I invest all that time, go not get the placing I want, not get the call that I want, it kind of is all for nothing. And I need to take a couple steps back anyway, improve anyway, and then go back. So it could be time wasted. And that's, something I don't have a lot of time in my mind anyway. Like, I know I'm young in bodybuilding, but, I also want to be doing this forever. I want to make my mark, do what I want to do, and then, see what else is out there for me in life besides bodybuilding, because it's consumed a lot of it so far for me. So, that's kind of where my head is at, guys. So yeah, I guess that's it. I guess we'll leave the video there. Kind of went over my off-season cycle, what I'm doing there. Any questions or anything like that on that, drop in the comments below. Anything else you guys want to hear me talk about, yeah, just let me know, guys. I'm open book. You guys know that. But that is just some insight, really, on the off-season, what I'm doing right now, where my head is at, what our goal is, and what I'm thinking is the best move going into 2022. So hope you guys enjoyed the update. I'm filming a training video this Friday. Today's Tuesday, so I'll have more training for you. Probably have a cheat meal in between now and then that I'll film. I know I suck at filming cheat meals, guys. I do. But we're settled back in now, ready to take on this year, ready to be a better bodybuilder, be a better coach, be a better content provider for you guys. So it's going to be a big year, and I'm super excited for it. And hopefully all of this other stuff that's going on that I'm not going to mention continues to settle down and simmer down, and we can just all get back to our normal lives. So thanks for watching again, guys. Subscribe if you haven't. Like the video. Do me a solid. We'll catch you on the next one.